Hello, my name is Xander from Terrytown, and welcome to your Salem 29VBUD. I'm just going to start this off by saying this is still in prep, so if there's a bunch of stuff laying around or stuff's not clean, just know that it will be by the time you get here, but like I said, it is still in prep at the moment. Otherwise, getting right to it, you have your front power tongue jack, which you have a light to, just in case you need to hook up at night. Up and down for your front power tongue jack there. Worst case, if this ever electrically goes out, like you saw, it's all electric, you can peel this little tab up here, insert a tool, and then you can go ahead and manually override it and crank it just in case. For your propane tanks, you have these little switches here. This is a regulator switch, so it has this little point, which you can switch to either side to point to whichever tank you want to use. And then you can see how it goes white, clear, white. Right there is going to be red, and then when there's propane going through, it is going to turn green, so you know when it's going to be empty, because it'll be green, and then of course flick red. Have your battery and your battery disconnect down there. This is pretty self-explanatory, it's in the name. It disconnects your battery, so all it does is engage or disconnect the battery from the inside of the camper. Inside here, your hitch and everything will be in here, which your salesperson will go over with you. Just over there on the left is going to be your solar charge controller. That is going to be, you pretty much don't need to touch that. It's always going to charge or trickle charge your battery. The only time you're ever going to need to mess with that is if you're going to change between the amps and volts, or if you change a battery type. You can kind of see on there, it's reading your volts at the moment. Where it appears going to be your sewer connection, so you can have your black tank on your left, gray tank on your right, two grays. Your black tank is going to be for your toilet and everything like that. Your grays are going to be for showers and sinks. So everything is going to be color coordinated there. But like I said, black tank is for your toilets. So when it comes time to empty, I recommend doing the black tank first, just because it is the dirtiest water out of the two. So when you pull it, solids and everything will come out. And that's why I recommend doing the gray tanks last, is because that kind of flushes out your hose before you go ahead and put your hands back on there. So back here you have your city water connection. So that's going to be the main water when you get to a campground. You're going to have your black tank flush, which is going to be, well, of course, for your black tank, it flushes it out. So like I mentioned before, you have your black tank, which is going to be full of your toilet needs, so that's why they have the black tank flush, so you can kind of help turn on a little sprinkler inside to help flush any of that toilet paper or whatever out. And then you have your cable and satellite inputs there, so if your campground offers it, you can go ahead and put your cable in there. Here's your camp power or shore power. That's going to be the main power when you're hooked up to a campsite. And then for your power stabilizer jacks, pretty much you're just going to want to empty or bring them down until you feel a little bit of pressure. You're not going to want to keep holding it, because it will eventually raise up, and these aren't meant to raise, they're just meant to stabilize. So you hold down until it hits, and then maybe give it another half second or so more, just so it will then stabilize. But otherwise you just hold, extend, or retract, just like that. But besides that, we're going to be moving on to your water heater. There's water in here, so I'm not going to play around with it too much. But you have your anode rod, which is going to plug up that hole. It's about, I'd say, give or take 7 inches or so. But that is going to have all the hard water eat at that rather than your tank, so that actually protects your tank. So once that's in, make sure you tighten it down as tight as you can get it. It's going to be a 1 1/16 socket. Once it's in nice and tight, go to the inside of your camper, turn on the hot side of your faucet, and it's going to sputter for a little bit. But once it's done sputtering, that means the tank is filled, and then you can go ahead and turn this on through the inside, which I'll show you. Other than that, you have your pressure release, so you can kind of see how it does that. That will be before you go ahead and empty out your tank. So you want to pull that, all the air is going to release, and then you can go ahead and then take your anode rod out and then drain your tank. Outside speaker, and if you have a small TV outside, you do have a little input here that you can plug your TV into, and then 110 outlets as well down here. This is going to be your furnace exhaust. When your furnace is on, all the extra heat is going to be kicking out of here. So for little kids or animals, anything like that, just try to keep them away from this when it's on. This right here is your fresh tank. So if you're going to be camping out in the middle of nowhere, rustic camping or whatever, you're going to need to take water with you because you're not going to have that city water connection. So this is where you fill up that tank to bring the water with you. And then you're going to need to turn on your water pump in order to draw water from this and push it through your lines. This is like a little outside spray port, so you can plug it in there. Since it's so close, you can spray off the steps, spray off feet, animals, anything like that. Or since you do have your griddle right here, you can go ahead and spray off food or whatever you need to. The only thing I want to talk about with your griddle is that, I guess you can't really see it, but there's going to be an LP hose connected to it. And the LP hose goes from your griddle down into this little LP quick connect here. That is just going to bring your propane from the front of the camper all the way back here. So it's going to be an easy quick connect. And then one thing I did forget to mention about your fresh tank is it has a drain right behind the wheel. So you just grab that little white tab, go ahead and pull it. And then nothing else for the front, just your other side of the passenger storage. And then your crank for your front stabilizer jack. Or not your stabilizer jack, your front power tongue jack. Down underneath here is going to be your low point drains. So when it comes time to winterize, you just go ahead and open those up, and your water is going to drain out of the both hot and cold lines of your city water connection. And then for your stairs, make sure your door is completely open. Lift it up, throw it inside. This here. Make sure this little white tab is behind your furnace by pulling this right here. Same goes for when you take it out, you just pull it and bring it out. And then for your legs, you just want to go ahead, press these buttons in to change the ground clearance. So if there's different ground clearances at campgrounds, it can still be even. Otherwise, you just go ahead and pull it, grab the handle, and set it down. And that's it for the outside, so I'm gonna go in. So moving into the inside, we're gonna have your main power panel here. All of your readers are gonna be right here. So from your battery, fresh tank, black tank, gray, galley, anything like that. Like I said, the reason why all these are full is because it's being prepped still. But these are gonna tell you how full they're getting. So whichever you press down, it'll tell you and let you know when you need to empty them. Otherwise, you have your water pump and water heater switch. So like I said before, for your water pump, that's going to be for your fresh tank. So if you need to access that, you just flip this on and it's gonna draw water from that tank. Water heater, flip that on once you have the steady flow and your anode rod in. Of course, you have your accent lights, which are gonna be up here, and then your awning light as well. And for your main lights, you want to do is dimmer switch. So you just tap here. You can tap and hold to dim, tap and hold to brighten. So all of your main lights are going to be, went too far, are going to be controlled through this dimmer switch. Otherwise, for your slide, you have the in and out, and of course your awning in and out as well. I'm going to move this in just a tad, just so you know what it sounds like when it fully extends. Once you hear that gear grinding noise, you know you're fully extended. You don't have to worry about, that noise. It's normal. It just means it's the motor reaching its full limit. Other than that, you have your awning, which is your in and out. Let's see if we can open this. So you're going to want to look for two main things when this fully extends. It is going to be the awning flap, so the end of the awning, and then the black bar it's rolled up on underneath. So let's try to get this flap down. There we go. So there's the flap, and then the black bar underneath. Well, mainly just when you see that flap come down, go ahead and let go. That's automatic to the point till the end, and then if you keep holding it, it's going to rail in the opposite way and end up breaking. So obviously we don't want that. So that's why I mentioned those two main things I'm going to pay attention to, so you know when to let go. Moving on, you have your speaker here, or your sound bar. So you just have your power, HDMI, USB inputs. You have channel switches, pause, play, select. So if you want to select between bass, treble, stuff like that, you can go ahead and click that. Those you have modes, so you can switch between your Bluetooth, TV, and others like that. And you have your volume down, volume up, and you also have a mute button right here. And you have zone 1 and zone 2 speakers. So zone 1 is going to be your inside speakers, zone 2 is going to be your outside speakers. And then right here for your fireplace, you have all of your buttons right here. Far right is going to be on, far left goes between your hours. You can kind of see them start to rise right there. 9 hours goes all the way up to. And you have low, high fan speed, lights, so you have rack color and fan color, and then of course your power again. Here's your thermostat. So you click through all these, you have your fan settings, cool settings, which is your AC, and of course heat, which is your furnace. And then you're gonna wanna make sure you have your propane on for that. Just down here, that is going to be your carbon monoxide detector. So that is always going to be running as a safety feature. So when you pack this all up, just double check and make sure that that green light is off, so it's not drawing off of your battery or anything like that. For your bathroom, you're gonna need to know 3 things. Don't worry about that, that's just to help keep it open. I don't want you to think anything weird about it, but down there it's going to be flush, so it's just a foot flush. You just press down with your foot, it's going to flush. And then 2 other things, you're going to need RV grade toilet paper and toilet solution. The toilet solution is going to help break down solids and smells, and then the toilet paper is going to help break down easier, just make sure everything flows out of your black tank with no issue. And in here, of course, you have your storage underneath your bed. And if you were to put a TV, you have a bracket location in here, which you're gonna have to find the stud for. Then you have your input and your 110 outlets right there. Moving into your kitchen, you have your main doors and baggage door stuff here. Then this is gonna be for outside shower. Do Salem's come with outside shower? And then for your keys, these are all going to be for main doors and baggage doors. Inside here, microwave, pretty self-explanatory. Have light, fan, and then down here you have a light, and then to light, you have your light, and then to light your burners, you press in, turn to release the gas to the little pilot light, and you go ahead and spark to the right. There's arrows and everything telling you to spark to the right, because if you spark to the left, it will snap off. So spark on the pilot. Same goes for your oven. There's going to be a piece way in the back there, which is going to be your igniter. So you're going to want to pay attention to that, because the flame's going to come out of it. So like I said, press in, turn to the pilot, spark, 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 spark. And then once you see that flame appear, then go ahead and turn to your desired temperature afterwards. For your fridge, everything's going to be up on the top right there. You just twist that little dial until you get to the temperature you like. Coming down here, you're gonna have your water pump and everything in here. So to winterize, you're gonna want to flip a switch on that, which turns this end into a suction, which you'll put into your jug of antifreeze. And then you're gonna want to bypass your water heater, which is you just flip those, obviously. But like I said, you're gonna want to make sure you bypass your water heater, and then go ahead, flip this little switch on there, which turns this into a suction. And once you put this into your jug of antifreeze, turn your water pump on, and then go through all your hot, cold lines. For your back bunk, not a whole lot to it. Down here, you're gonna have all of your breakers, which are gonna be labeled just like a house would be. Then on the right side, all of your fuses, which I do recommend bringing some with you, just as a safety precaution. I recommend it. You don't have to, but it's all personal preference. And the last thing I want to talk about is gonna be your AC vent. So what most people do when they get to a campground, the camper's gonna be hot from dragging it around all day. So they'll open these up, and then since it's open, it's gonna be a dump straight out the bottom when you turn your AC on. So that means it's gonna start to, flow, get air moving and whatnot. And once it starts to cool down, they'll go ahead and close it. And since it's all ducted, it'll then flow through the ceiling. But other than that, that has been your brief orientation. If you do have any questions or anything like that, please write them down and take them in with you when you come to pick this unit up. Other than that, if there's any down the road, please feel free to email me and I can get those for you. But like I said, that has been your orientation. Congratulations, and I hope you enjoy.